And we're back. Oh my God, we're back.
Oh, so
It's a pandemic, but we're back.
It's a pandemic. It's a pot and pandemic. Oh
It's
my
your
God.
favorite two, Courtney and Amy. I'm going to let you finish. In partnership with Listening Party Presents. You know what to do. Follow us all. We're all on IG and Facebook and all the good old stuff. So, Amy.
And unlike the people in North Carolina, we're not lining up for chicken. I just saw that headline. So.
No, we're civilized. We have it delivered because we live in New York. It's
so
like
Courtney,
we're not eating chicken. We're just having it delivered.
Right. Well, I am not eating chicken, but that's another story. But yes, we're civilized. We get nice people to come to our houses for us.
So once again, we're recording this show with technology over the phone. We miss our studio. We miss you, Canal Street Radio Studios, Canal Street Market. We miss you guys.
We miss being in a room with more than two people. Let's face it.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. You know, so like we're starting out, you know, catching up about lives in lockdown. Like people have been asking me, "Are you bored?" I'm like, "Well, I've done a couple of DJ sets. I've done talks. I'm not bored because I work from home. I have a home office, so it's kind of a creative environment. But I absolutely, I'm also a social person, so I miss my Brooklyn partners and hanging out in Brooklyn on the weekends and all my boys. We all live uptown. Like we haven't seen each other. We've been in contact, but I miss that. Us going to have a drink, us going to have like a early sort of cocktail hour, bar menu food, and just catching up and hearing some music loud that someone else is playing, you know?
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, I'm a social person too, and it's funny. Well, first off, I'm lucky and I have an outdoor space, so that has definitely saved my ass. But
absolutely.
I'm not bored.
She has a big outdoor space, people, like unobstructed views of all of Fort Greene Park and Manhattan.
Yes, I can see all the people not social distancing. But I'm not bored. I actually, staying inside reduces my anxiety level because I know I'm not going to contaminate myself. I also have pets, which they are a comfort. I miss seeing my friends too. I miss going down the street and just being able to hang, though I'm getting a little less freaked out. I am going, I sat on my neighbor's stoop the other day. It's not like I'm completely as freaked out as I was a few weeks ago because though the threat's still there, the body count, thank God, is dropping because we did our job. We fucking did our job, New York.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that, and sometimes it feels like for me, I feel you're right because I started taking walks in the mornings, and I did it this morning. In the beginning, like I've been in the house, you and I feel like we've been in the house since basically we taped our show. I was in the house the week before we taped our last show in the studio, which is March 8th, but I've been in the house since then, and I got to the place where I was like, well, this is a new reality right now. I'm not really coming into contact with anybody. But you know what? Opening the windows is not enough. I actually need to just go outside, get some fresh air. And and I didn't feel so bad. I mean, I put on 2 masks. I look like Jason from Friday the 13th. But I was like, I'm going to take a walk. So
not an actual book, right?
And just, it's been good to like go outside and just see a little bit of life, but it's really weird because I know they're trying to rush to open things back up, but I just have this strange feeling that this shit's going to last longer than anybody thinks.
Oh, it's going to last a lot longer, and I think that New Yorkers, I mean, this is why, and you and I, all of us, when you see these people freaking out, like, I can't do this and I can't, it's like, shut up, really. First off, no one's seeing you, so it doesn't matter what your hair looks like, okay? No one is seeing you. I bought box dye. I broke down and got some box dye. Life goes on. and this is for the greater good. It's just ironic to me that New Yorkers who are supposed to be so selfish and so by the minute and so fuck everybody else, we're doing the right thing. We're doing it, you know?
Well, it's crazy watching the people on TV because they're like, fuck you, open the country. It's like people are trying to save your life, but they're like, no, America. I'm like, people are actually trying to save your life. No one wants to be in their house. No, do you want to? Hey, I have a question for you, Amy. Do you like being in the house not making money? I don't know anybody who likes to just be in the house not making any money.
No, I don't like being
When I see them, it's like, do you think it's unique to you? No one wants to be sitting in the house not making money.
It is, yeah. It's like, you're that person sitting at home without a job. Oh, I read about you. You're that one person. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And especially in, the Midwest, you have lawns, you have backyards, you have pools. Really, we're not saying you can never go to the beach, but hello, Georgia, you just opened up and there's 200 more cases. Do you see the science here? Like, it's sort of like if you don't want to get, poison ivy, stay out of the bushes.
Right.
Fucking,
No, it's incredible to me when I hear that, and it's like no one wants to just be in the house. We live in New York, where guess what? It is great that It's great that they gave a stimulus and people got $1,200. If you live in New York, in some places you've got your rent, you're paying food. In New York, most people, that $1,200 absolutely helped you towards your rent, but that wasn't that.
I saw that.
Have you checked?
No. I have checked. They sent me a letter saying that I can reapply for unemployment, but I can't reapply for unemployment until, no, I haven't checked yet, but the point is that, yeah, everybody needs to stop whining. Italy, Spain, they shut down. There's an article in the Times today, Greece, and trust me, I work with Greek people. They are not the most cooperative, organized people in the world. They're very like, whatever. They shut down, and guess what? They have the lowest death rate in Europe. So, please, cause respect, folks. Pay attention, do the right thing, and you too can live. Whee!
So how's your life been? How's your life been in lockdown? How's your snacks been? Because let me just tell you something. It's been fucking going down over here.
What is the snack bitch going on? What are we craving that you never ate before?
For some reason, and I just want to send a shout out to Deep River Snacks because they make these spicy New York dill potato chips.
Oh, you were talking about
my God.
Okay, all right.
And I don't know what it is, but I've probably had at this point 40 bags of them. And that and clementines. I've been eating, that's my other go-to snack. I've been going between potato chips, clementines, and candy.
Interesting. Any particular type of candy or just candy?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Are we going Halloween candy?
It just so happens that everybody knows I love a gummy candy. And so it has been peach rings. These peach rings, these gummy watermelons, and these Haribo sour twin snakes. It's been terrible. It's been terrible. I'm going to be 500. And then everything else I've been eating really clean and great. But I feel like I've started taking walks because I've just been in sweats and sweatshirts for 2 months. I'm so afraid when I go to put on some clothes, I'm like, take your fat ass and take a walk every fucking morning.
Courtney, I read this article in a scientific journal that anything you eat while on pandemic is like when you eat when you're on vacation. It doesn't count.
You say that, except I read the Journal of Homosexual, and that just means fat old queen who's going to have a birthday this summer, and I'm not trying to be rolled into the party because I sat during this pandemic, which I think is going to go on until God knows when, and just ate my way through everything.
Well, I hate to say this because I'm not trying to be that girl, but I'm snacking. But I'm also eating less because I'm having to make do with what's in the house.
Right.
So I always eat pretty healthy anyway, but my son, bless his heart, is always like, do you want me to bring you? I'm a big popcorn fan, and I usually make my own, but I destroyed my popcorn pot. I've been really eating.
How'd you destroy your popcorn pot?
Because I used it for 20 years, and it was like, disgusting. This is probably the cure for COVID in that fucking pot, so much carbon. But my son was very sweet, and he went to the store for me. And unlike his mother, who looks for the cheaper brands and is always economizing, my son shops like a single man. So
who works at Nike, honey. He's like, I'm going to the top shelf.
he got me name brand stuff. So he got me this popcorn, which is coconut oil and Himalayan salt. It's so fucking good.
You're like, oh my God, the heavens have opened up. It's top tier popcorn.
Oh, so good. And he got me a chocolate bar I was like, wow. So, he's been good like that. It hasn't been too crazy. I eat a lot of mangoes. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
But I haven't been bike riding or walking and stuff like that, but I've been doing little.
I'm surprised you haven't been on your bike.
I really, honestly, can I tell you honestly, I got good and freaked the first couple of weeks. I really did.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
And I really, knowing myself and my low-level anxiety, the fact
it was better for you to just stay in the house.
Stay put. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a house. I have my TV's working. I have books. I've been doing so much sorting through papers and stuff. I have found shit from elementary school, and
oh my God.
I was like, do I really need that poem that I wrote?
No, I think everybody. I have finally, I opened up, listen, I have a big apartment, but for the huge size of this apartment, there are only 2 closets in it. And so there are only 2 closets. It's crazy. One in the front bedroom. There's not one in my bedroom. That's why I have a chipperobe in my bedroom. And there's one in the hall. Yeah, that's a chipperobe, sweetie. Chipperobe, darling. Darling, honey, chipperobe. So I started going through the music closet, and that's where I found all of these CDs and shit that I have not seen in a million years, like stacks of all of CDs of the mixes to be considered, and before everything was just all digital and you didn't really put them together on one CD, just of so much shit.
Dr. Dre record that's supposed to come out?
Which one?
The Dr. Dre record that's coming out.
Oh, yeah, no. That's in the other closet.
Okay.
So, just so much shit. I found my Dennis Rodman dolls, the Destiny Child dolls, my Britney Spears, all shit that I haven't seen in years, but just so much stuff. I found bills from when I first moved in here 22 years ago. I was like, okay, bitch, you really need to clean this closet out. But it felt good to throw a bunch of stuff out. It kind of made me do a bunch of shit around the house,
my friend Candace calls it death cleaning, and I am doing death cleaning. I mean, honestly, seriously, you look at this stuff. I used to hold on to, I have all my articles I've written, but I used to, I found a copy of, a magazine, and I wasn't even in it. I just saved it because it was it had an article about a band, but this is pre-internet. So it's been since 1970, and all of a sudden I look at it, I go, okay, Amy, you're not ever going to run for president. Nobody cares about your archives. You're not that important. And you could read this article on the interwebs. So I found a bunch of old punk rock shit. I'm going to see if I can donate it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because I don't need it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's you never know what's of value or some of that stuff people are looking for,
Well, the posters, all those posters I have. But the point is that there's something very liberating about going, fuck it. Oh, you want to hear something hilarious? So I found this love letter or a letter, right, from some boyfriend. And it's on paper, so obviously it's a million years ago. So I'm reading it. I don't recognize the handwriting, but whatever. I'm reading, looking for cues in the letter. I'm like, when was this from? Okay. He said he hitchhiked to Montreal, so it had to be the East Coast. Okay, he said he dropped acid, so it's got to be the 70s. Who is this person? And then there's no last page, and I couldn't figure out who it was, and I finally found the letter. But it was some boy I had a crush on when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
It still had the letter. It was hilarious. I was like, I'm finding lots of letters. Some old boyfriend's I now realize how much I love you and I miss your touch. Fuck you. Goodbye.
So,
it's been fun.
our beloved industry.
Oh.
You know, it's really hard. It's hard to watch what's happening in some sectors, and then I have a bunch of friends who are busier than ever. So there's some sectors that are not stopping at all. But I really, you know, and I know that a couple of labels have been having talks about, you know, now thinking about trying to ramp up productions and stuff. But I worry so much because I don't think they're going to be live shows until sometime in 2021. And all of those people, you think about the stage builders, the lighting people, the sound people, the drivers, people who drive the trucks, people who drive the buses, the dancers. It's like, what are they going to do for work if a year of live shows does not happen anywhere?
It's across the board. I mean, it's, you know, we're basically in a depression without anybody using the word. And you know, any industry, whether it's teaching, whether it's the music industry, whether it's, you know, the meat packing industry, as soon as they can figure out a way of not having to use people, they'll keep doing it. So if they can go, well, we don't really need to have people coming in. We can do this all remote. And it's not to say that some of these remote things haven't been cool. There's been great stuff, and then there's been like, I didn't really want to see you in the first place, and I certainly don't want to see you on my phone.
Right.
But this is capitalism. You know, everybody's like, you know, you need to get back to work. Well, maybe now you realize how valuable all these people are, you know?
Absolutely. Every aspect of it.
You know, it's like, so yeah, the touring is obviously going to be, is dead for now because. But
there's some people, that's how they solely make their income. There's some bands that we've all used to love, and their money now comes from having a catalog and a robust touring business, you know?
Right. You know, you posted something that's interesting about merch, and I would guarantee you, I would bet you that the merch would continue because people buy T-shirts for memories, but also as a form of, there could almost be like a perverse irony of buying the tour T-shirt for the tour that never happened. You know, it could be if you're one of those people, but it's going to be pretty much dead in the water for a good year. I mean, summer in New York is the season for all the great, and across the country, all the great outdoor shows, mainly the international acts. That's done. That's not happening. I would say international acts are going to suffer more than anybody. Anybody coming from Europe or Africa because it's going to take longer. So, yeah, it's a whole – I'm going to be seeing a play, I'm making little air quotes here, on Zoom in about a week. I'm there. Everybody can see it. So it's nice that it's democratized, that now everyone has access to this stuff. But if you're not charging, then that means people aren't getting paid. You know?
I have enjoyed watching, though, how – yes, this is definitely a capitalist society, right? Well, we all know this. But I've been enjoying how certain people have been offering things for free, offering a lot of services for really reduced prices. And it kind of levels it out and gives people opportunity to do and see some things, or maybe get some software or learn a program or learn a language for way cheaper. You know what I mean?
I'm seeing the language thing now. It's hilarious. I mean, it's just fun to do because it's letting me use my brain in a sort of like thinking and not talking to the cats and waiting for them to talk back to me.
Right.
Can I just ask a question what you feel about all these like so-and-so versus so-and-so ID things?
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
Like, everything is a live stream, child. Every DJ is spinning a set. Everybody's this one versus this one. I mean, at one point, I think it was Hezekiah Walker versus John P. Key. I think it was this past weekend. Like Baby First versus Teddy Riley. I mean, listen, it's not for me, but I'm glad it's there.
No, it's fun. I have to say, though, I did watch the Teddy Babyface thing because that is so my lane. And I do have to say there's something deliciously funny about two of the greatest producers in the world not knowing how to work.
I mean, it's just like, I can't even.
Teddy.
It's way too much. It's like Metamucil much, you know what I mean? Like, what's happening? I will say.
Babyface won that one. As soon as he pulled out the guitar and was like, and it
Well,
goes to baby.
he won that one simply by sitting there by himself and not bringing in a marching band, a fedora,
Right.
lights, cameras, action. It's Instagram.
Every member of Blackstreet. Look, it's Dave
Right.
Hollister. He just
Right. He just happened to be here. I will say I have enjoyed Questlove.
Yes,
And
that's been fun.
the thing that I enjoyed the most, and I watched it on YouTube so I could really get it and have it all through the house, was his 4 nights of Prince leading up to the anniversary, then the anniversary of passing of Prince's death. Because he did it in different sections. It was like live. It was a live night. There were songs he wrote for other people and his and all his proteges night. There was the rare cuts night. It was really, really good. And he pulled out some really, he pulled out a Vanity 6 live from Radio City Music Hall, complete with the Frankie Crocker introducing the show. That just took me all the way to a moment. So I thought that was really, really great.
Amir is a musicologist, and he's a music nerd, always has been. So, but the rest, it's great. Listen, it's a lot of fun. We all need diversion. We all need entertainment. I begrudge nobody. It's a fun way of building community, but at one point it just gets like, all right, how many split screens am I going to have to watch of like old people battling it out? It gets a little much, but hey, it's not for us, Courtney. It's for the kids.
It's for the kids, and that's why I just order my dinosaur barbecue and have it delivered and to, try to support the local economy.
Yeah, I'm supporting my local Mr. Mango. And,
I want to make sure you do something, Amy. Tonight, because, Amy and I, before every show, I want you guys to know we drink Lysol blueberry smoothies.
I to mine.
Complete with a Fabuloso shooter.
Oh, fabulous. I posted something, somebody was being obnoxious, and I said, do you also enjoy Fabuloso? And outside of New York, they don't know that means. He thought I was like, oh, sure, if you like to drink that to be nasty. I'm like, oh, that's right. You've never lived in a New York City house. You've never felt tutti frutti Fabuloso.
Not that I think I need to say it to any of our followers, but please don't try to ingest disinfectant of any kind. Thank you.
Bad idea. Yeah, I gave up. Only bleach you should be using is on your hair.
Right.
That's it. Yeah. It's very mean, I suppose, but sometimes you have to go, maybe we need to cull the herd a little bit. If you're that drinking bleach, which is something that a child too knows how to do, so that's why mommy and daddy lock up the cleaning product. So maybe, and I'm not saying we should, but sometimes you're like, I can't keep you from being stupid. Like, how?
And then when you heard that the numbers to poison control went through the roof after that, I'm like, did you actually have to call and check? Did you have to call and check that ingesting a disinfectant might not be? It says it on the wall. All of those bottles usually say warning.
Warning. Or in Spanish, if need be. And
or usually like a skull and crossbones, like you can try it.
Which is the universal symbol for bad. Yeah, no, it's like I said, if you want to believe in fake cures, that's one thing. That's whatever. But when someone is telling you, or I'm sorry, not telling you, thinking out loud about using cleaning products. I resent the fact that I have to use Clorox-based products to clean right now because I try to keep my house organic. But that shit does
No, fuck that. I use bleach and shit. And Fabuloso cleans everything and kills everything.
Fabuloso. I know.
And it comes in 739 cents.
I know. Well, now there's no 99-cent stores. But yeah.
Oh, no, my 99-cent store is back open. I went in there and stocked up the other day.
But it's just hilarious to me because on one hand, if this administration has been anything, it's like this absolute rage and indignation and just like shock. And then you're like, on the other hand, going, are people that fucking stupid? And then you go, why, yes, they are.
And then you realize you're like, oh, my God. I think so. Wait, but you know what's better than our administration? You know what makes You know what makes our administration look like it's the part two? That would be North Korea, where either their fearless leader is dead or maybe not dead, or maybe dead or maybe not dead. And they were like, he can't be dead. Look at this letter he wrote. It's like,
Well,
what?
Trump says he's not dead. Trump claims he's not dead, and Trump has never lied.
Well, did he say he's not dead? Remember he said, well, I know something. I know, but I can't say. I can't say it. Don't make me say it, but I know something.
Right. I think Kim Jong-un is, they're going to get rid of Fauci, and he's going to be the new head of the Corona Task Force. I think they're going to bring him.
I think even he was like, this shit's over here in North Korea, and we're too poor, and he's living in a high-rise in Brooklyn.
No,
that's where everybody else seems to come to.
Like I said, it reminds me of the old Saturday Night Live skit. You know, Francisco Franco is still dead. So we wouldn't know if he was dead. We don't know if he's been alive.
You know what he did? He did it. They're doing the 70s TV show thing where he just puts on glasses. Remember how, like, in Wonder Woman, where Linda Carter was supposed to look like Wonder Woman because she had a bun and glasses?
Right.
And you're like, but you still look like the same person.
Right. Well, it's like Samantha and Tabitha. I'm wearing a tight. Oh yeah, you must be her sister. Yeah, no.
He's literally living in downtown Brooklyn in one of those new buildings above the Whole Food, just in some glasses and a hat, talking about no, I'm not him.
I mean, he's dead. He's not dead. Trump knows. Trump knows all. He's dead.
Well, actually, they should call Dennis Rodman because he knows everything.
Yeah, he does.
He knows it.
You know what? Dennis Rodman probably does know. That's what's so
right. He's probably, and there we go. Speaking of who has actually won the whole quarantine entertainment vortex is Fiona Apple. Fiona Apple absolutely delivered. Yes. First of all, she always delivers great music. I love her, but she delivered the 1-2 punch and had the kind of album that works in a time when people are feeling all locked up and crazy.
Do you think she's ever, before we get into the album, do you think she's ever done a bad album? Because I don't think she ever has.
No. I will say I have loved some more than others, and I love all of her work. I didn't love what's it, Idler Wheel? The Idler's Wheel. I didn't love that album as much, but I mean, you know, I was at Sony and working really closely with my friend Jana, who was on the team helping to break Fiona on the video side. So I got to see a lot of her first early showcases and a lot of shows throughout the year. So I'm a really huge fan and have seen it from the beginning and really think that listen, even her album that's not my favorite album is a great album. But this one to me, it sounds like a grown woman with zero fucks to give and bunch to stay. And it's a really focused effort from her. And I like that she's doing different things with her voice. And I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously very excited to see it coming. I was also very excited because someone that I consider a friend, but I haven't talked to him for a while, but someone I'm a huge fan of, David Garza, is in her band and had a lot to do with this record, so I was very happy to see him, you know, get some shine. But, you know, I'm such a contrarian. When I first started reading the reviews, I was like, oh my God, everybody, they're going to go over.
Yeah, because it makes it hard when it's like when when you're the critic's darling, it's always like, okay.
Yeah, and it's also what's brilliant. I mean, it is a great record. She sounds great. She's a great songwriter. She's so versed in the art of songwriting. She really is in so many ways, like a traditional songwriting. They're very well constructed. The lyrics are interesting. You know, this is not like, you know, she is a very traditional songwriter in a lot of ways. Piano bass, very great voice, but she's really, you know, this is definitely an album about a Me Too record in the best sense of like someone who has been through it, who now at 40 has the gravitas to talk about it. At 19, people went, you're 19, what the fuck do you know?
Well, she talked about it differently. You think about it then. No, people didn't say what you know, because those first records were very acclaimed. I just think like you said, now that she's I believe she's 42 now. Those early records, it was that rawness, right? It's that raw thing as a young person where it's coming out of you almost in a rage, and we love that. But then as you live life and you have some life behind you and you work through a lot of shit, the way you view the things that have happened to you in your life, especially if you're an evolved individual, you start to have a different perspective on it all. You know what I mean? Because you've been through it, you survived it, you're still there. And so this record is a very mature sort of Fiona having some shit to say and really taking a stand and not worried about, there's a lot of singers, they want to sing pretty and everything needs to be, and she didn't make songs to be like, I need to sing pretty and worry about how I sound. It's about, what am I trying to say and the emotion I'm trying to convey. Right. And I really feel like she hit that, you know?
She's also always been one of these women, one of these artists who was wise beyond her years at 19.
Right.
And now you read interviews with her. I mean, she's been through, we've all been through stuff. Listen, to compare what you're like as a human being, let alone an artist, from 19 to 40, it's like you can't do it. It's night and day.
Right. Absolutely.
He also doesn't have the pressure. In this market, you don't have to. She's like a Sade or a Maxwell. She can put out a record when she wants to put out a record. She has a core fan base. She has a very idiosyncratic sound. There is no one who sounds like Fiona. Even people who are influenced by Fiona never sound like her.
And they don't put her in a box, right? You don't think, Fiona's coming. What's it gonna be like? It's like you think about the for lack of a better word, like the Rihannas, the Beyoncés, those girls, even the Adeles. There's an expectation of bigness. There's an expectation of, I want hit songs. I want that thing that's going to inspire me. Fiona just comes with, people are excited. What's it going to be? There's not the expectation of, where's the hit songs and where are these things, you know?
I mean, there's something somewhat liberating sometimes about not being a multi-platinum artist. Because she did this, by the way. But
I believe she is a multi-platinum artist.
No. I think the first record sold well, but she's not, in the sense of multi-platinum, no one is looking to Fiona Apple to have chart-topping hits. She's not.
No, but you don't get to stay on the same record label as long as she did without being profitable for them.
But she's also, I think, a prestige artist, too. There's still...
Yes, but, honey, we've seen prestige artists dropped all the time because they love to say prestige, but they like prestige that also bring in some dollars.
Well, I definitely agree. I'm just saying that I think she has very much her own lane, and I think the fact that she chose to drop this record the way she did, she has just proven herself. Anyway, the album is called Fetch the Bolt Cutters, by the way, just in case we didn't mention that. With
the cover being the most insane and Fiona-esque album cover ever. I live for it.
David drew that cover. David Garza drew that. That's his artwork.
And her making that face, I'm like, this is so Fiona, which makes it. That's the thing about her. It's like, for me, I don't care about image. I don't care what videos are going to look like. I just want to hear the music.
Yes, of course. And this is actually the perfect time in a way because she's not going to be able to tour. There's not going to be videos. We're going to sit at home. She did it brilliantly. Obviously, she couldn't plan this. But I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly she went, fuck it, let's just put it out. And she did.
Well, no, that is how it happened, actually. The label, the album was turned in. They wanted to move it. They wanted to move the album until October. Right? October. Yeah. To be like, we're in the middle of this thing. And she was like, no, let's put it out. Because you see a lot of people have moved their records, and you have people benefited. Dua Lipa is benefiting; her record is doing well. And the Weeknd is like king right now, all across the U.S. and all across Europe, which has helped Universal have a great quarter. You know what I mean? They did well.
What's really weird? I can't look at him right now because everything is so traumatic and tense and on edge. I don't want to see this guy running down the street with blood on his face. I know it sounds really wimpy of me, but right now I can't look at him. Maybe another time, but I don't mind his music.
I don't, and I don't mind his music, but I don't gravitate to his music.
Me
You know what I
either.
mean? I don't
I
gravitate
like
to his music.
better when he was like a moody Canadian cokehead, and now he's like Michael Jackson.
Allegedly.
Okay. What? Which part? Moody or Canadian?
I would say the cokehead portion of our show.
About cocaine. He's not. He sang about cocaine. He may not get cocaine. You know who else I listen to?
You know, I've never tried cocaine.
You lie.
I've never tried it. Never.
How are you in the music industry for all those years?
Let me just tell you something, and it has been offered to me 749 times, you know, like the gay kids in the clubs love it, but I have never, ever, ever tried cocaine, ever.
Good for you.
You know, and you know what it was? When I was in college, yeah, I've never done acid either. When I was in college, that's when some kids start really doing coke. So I was around some kids that I used to hang out when they started doing coke. But to me, they would act so crazy that I was like, oh, is that what that does to you? Do you look like that? Well, I don't need to do that. And I just never did it.
I think it was Randy Newman said the problem with cocaine is it makes you think you're smarter than you actually are. No. Don't need
Honey, there's nothing like being around crazy cokeheads. They act so crazy. I went to dinner once with this person after we finished a music video, and she's a big time. She still works in the industry, so I'll say no names. And she was a big producer, and she goes to the bathroom. She comes back, and all of a sudden she's like, blah, 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 and it was just like, okay. It was so LA Nights. It was so LA Nights.
Every dance music department in the 90s, you'd go up there, and the dance music department was wide awake.
No, let me just tell you something. All my years started, working with all the dance guys. So many people are sober from, now because of all of those years, like, man, working in the dance department. Even now, it's like I go out, it's like people drink tickets, buy me drinks, you don't pay to get in. It's like, I love that part, but I can also see if you did drugs, all of that shit was always available. It's not like though you always see it in the movies, but it was like shit was available and fucking the party was there if you wanted it,
Yeah. And then you age out of it. And so,
if you're smart, you do. Some people, some people get really, really caught up.
Yeah, no, but I know, but it's like, wow, we can have that, I'm very proud of you, Courtney. You've never done it. All right.
Have you been watching The Last Dance?
Yeah, it's funny. I was, speaking of cocaine.
I was thinking about that because Michael Jackson talked about the cokey bulls when he first got there.
Okay, so I wanted to watch it, but I was very caught up in something else, and I've just started watching it. All right, so here, I'm going to say I've only watched 2 episodes. So here's the thing. I'm a basketball fan, and that's obviously the era. I mean, that was like, that's the era. I'm going to say something that's so mean, but he's a dick, right? Like, nobody likes Michael Jordan, right?
People have a love-hate. There's some people who do, but he's very revered. But, he's got that reputation of being a dick.
Oh, but he's revered as a talent, because I was asking Lucian about it. And I said, I just don't like Michael Jordan. He goes, nobody likes him. He's a great player. Okay, so here's what a horrible human being I am. Okay, so when I can't even admit I'm saying this, but I don't care.
Oh, God.
Okay, this is
no.
Like, you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
When his father died, my first thought was, why couldn't this have happened during the season?
Oh, my God. That's horrible. Even for you, that's horrible.
I know, it's bad.
Horrible.
It's bad.
Even for you. And that is a new place to go.
It's below. But it was like 2 seconds. And then I snapped out of it. I went, oh, even for you, that's horrible. No, it was terrible. But it was when the Knicks when we still had a basketball team in this town. And I was like, oh, fuck, really? Now he has to be like all out of sorts? And then it was like, oh, poor Michael Jordan. All right, so far.
What have you thought of the first 2 episodes? Have you enjoyed it so far?
I'm enjoying the Scottie Pippen stuff a lot.
The Scotty, no, and you wait till you get to the next 2 episodes, which you can watch online now because those aired over the weekend. They focus on Dennis Rodman and Phil Jackson. They're really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, no, it's a great era in basketball. It was really interesting. I just always feel like, I mean, I'm not the only person to say this, obviously, like Scottie Pippen was always like an afterthought. Like he's like,
no, it's a gag when you realize so much, because you have Michael Jordan, who was making like $30 million, taking all the money, and it was just kind of like, you had the power to make sure your boy got paid too, though. You kind of did. And you knew that you needed him, and he was making like $2 million, and y'all really, when he was out, you really needed him.
Of course. Well, honestly, my issue with Michael Jordan, I mean, all joking aside, I mean, obviously I didn't like him because he played for the team that was beating my team, though I was lucky enough to actually see him play, and it was mind-blowing. I was like, holy shit. I saw him in the 90s. But I will say where I just washed my hands with him was when he refused to endorse the black Democratic candidate when he was running against Jesse Helms, and he said, well, Republicans buy sneakers too. And I was like, man,
he sure did. Yeah, he sure did. Listen, capitalist society. That's how people are in a capitalist society,
I thought that was like a really douche move on his part.
Yeah.
It's really, it's, now let me ask you something though. Is this all footage Jordan has a hand in this documentary?
Well, literally, the last year, that Bull season, they had a film crew following them, and they filmed the whole season. And they've been sitting on this footage for years and years and years. And then he started working on a documentary, which is why when ESPN did that great doc piece a year or 2 ago, he wasn't in it because they were like, he's working on his own. And honestly, the thing that's interesting is we've never really heard him tell any of his story really, or really talk about a bunch of shit. So it's kind of fascinating to me to hear what he has to say. It was really you haven't seen, I don't want to, you got to see parts 3 and 4.
No, I will.
I'm
watching it. But I was just always, because I'm always curious when there's a documentary and the subject of the documentary is involved in some way. So
that definitely colors. It definitely, when you watch it, he comes up very kumbaya, like this nice guy. And it's like, by all accounts, it was like, I don't remember really people referring to you as a nice guy.
But I am watching.
It was almost like the Kobe thing. Do you remember how live when people would say Kobe doesn't have a bunch of friends in basketball? He doesn't have a bunch of friends. But then everybody was his friend once he was gone. And I was like, that was different, because I remember it always being like he didn't have a bunch of friends.
Yeah, there are certain players that were always people that people gravitated around, and then there were certain players. And it's also just interesting, again, it's always interesting to see inside the mind of oh, my God, I just drew a blank. Come on, the coach. Give me the name of the coach.
Phil Jackson?
Phil Jackson, yeah, because I loved him as a Knick, too. That's
he was on the 2 championship. He won 2 championships with the Knicks. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah, no, he was a great player. So I'm definitely watching. I mean, it's something I've had so much television, Courtney, to catch up on.
But aren't you watching some kind of Jewish film festival also?
Well, it's my self-proclaimed Jewy Film Festival. Okay, so here's the thing. Like many Jews, I am self-hating. And
I'm Catholic. The Catholics are right behind you, except I got off that self-hating train.
Yeah, very self-hating, and a lot of it would all be worked out in therapy, but a lot of it has to do with whatever. So I would never identify myself as Jewish because I could always pass as something else, and I'd be like, yeah, that works for me. But all joking aside, someone had told me about this show. Well, and my great affinity for kosher popcorn. And since I was going to be denying my kosher popcorn because, quarantine, someone had told me about this show Unorthodox, a friend of Lucian's who's a really cool kid. He had told me about this show Unorthodox. So I watched it. It's on Netflix. It's absolutely brilliant. It's based on a memoir of a formerly Orthodox Jewish woman from Williamsburg who basically escapes from the cult. And it is a cult in a lot of ways. So I watched that, and it's just stunningly well done. And the actress in it is amazing. So I literally Googled her name, Shira Haas, and anything that she was in, I said, I'm going to watch this. And it started on this sort of joking around. suddenly I was watching all this Israeli TV, and I was watching the show Scheitzel, which I really recommend. It's like a family drama starring her and starring okay, I've never dated a Jewish guy, and this guy is so hot that I'm totally rethinking my entire issue with Jewish men. But it's a really beautiful show. It's also about the Orthodox community, but in Israel. And I know nothing about Israel. I have no connection to Israel.
You've never been?
No, I have no interest in it. I've never.
I thought Jews. I thought you all had like a pilgrimage you did to Israel when you were a teenager.
No, in fact, that's a huge issue with a lot of American Jews. We don't, there's a difference between being Jewish and being a Zionist. But I have friends who are Israelis. I hear it's beautiful, but I just never had this gravitation to Israel. So I know nothing about it really, other than.
Are your parents from Israel or New York?
God, no. My mom's from the Bronx. My dad's from Brooklyn. No.
Have they ever been?
No. My father wouldn't go to Israel ever. No, there's no interest. I'm telling you, if I tell you.
So they're like real old school New York Jews. You're just straight up a New York Jew.
Yeah, we never went to temple. You've probably been to temple more times than I have. No, I don't know any of this shit. I mean, culturally Jewish. I don't know. My father's an atheist. Nothing. So I had no interest in it. Nothing. And now
nothing. No Rosh Hashanah?
No! I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is. Nothing. I'm like...
You're a bad Jew, Amy.
I used to sit there when Muslim was in elementary school. I'd be like, what are you doing home? And he goes, hello, it's a Jewish holiday. The schools are closed. I'm like, carry on. I know, I'm horrible.
You're like, it is? You're like, which one?
Which one? Good Shabbat Shalom. No, but it's actually been really interesting. But this show, Scheitzel, is absolutely gorgeous. The acting is great. And so I've been just following this woman, anything she's in. And then I watched another show called The Harem, which is about like a Kabbalah cult, which is great. And it goes around.
There seems to be a theme with the shows that you're watching. Cults, escaping from things.
Is a cult. But I'm trying to undo 59 and a half years of self-hatred. The only time can I tell you honestly, the only time I became remotely sort of identifying as Jewish is when Trump got elected, because then the anti-Semitism and working in a parochial school, I was like, yeah, okay. No, but they're really, all joking aside, it's great television. It's beautifully acted, and it's like a world, like I didn't even know what Israel looked like. Like I was like war stuff. So it's very, very interesting stuff. So I've only been watching Jewy TV with subtitles. So now I'm like everything subtitles. Everything I'm doing, I have to read.
I've just been listening. You know me. To me, it's like Law and Order. There's been no sport, so watching the draft for 3 days made me really, really happy, and then the Michael Jordan doc stuff has been making me really, really happy. And the Sugar Babes. I've been digging in, just listening to old Brit pop music from the early 2000s, and I don't know, for some reason the Sugar Babes have been getting me through this quarantine. I just dance around and sing those songs.
I told you that I saw the Sugar Babes performing.
I'm so jealous of the fact that you saw the Sugar Babes.
The only person who knew who the fuck was. They were performing at an Adidas showcase, and I'm there with my then boyfriend because he had designed something for Adidas, and all these Adidas, and we're there, and I'm like, Sugar Babes! And everybody's like, who are the Sugar Babes? I'm like, okay, first off, they're on stage, so that's
right. You see those three girls right in front of you singing? That would be them.
The Sugar Babes. And secondly, I thought if anyone would know who the Sugar Babes are, it would be Europe, because
that's where they were huge, right?
Where they were huge, you know. So no, I had a moment. It was so funny. I was like, I saw the Sugar Babes. That'll be. But you know what's weird? After, you know, when this first happened, the quarantine thing happened and stuff, I wasn't listening to any music, and I don't know why. And what I noticed is it's super quiet in New York right now, right?
Yes, very.
Ambient noise. Well, there was the sirens for all the weeks, and now thankfully that's not happening.
No, there's still a lot of sirens up here. It's crazy. I hear sirens all day, all night. Lots.
Yeah, but
I don't like it.
No, me neither. But what's really weird is that I have tinnitus. I have ringing in the ear, which is just the worst thing ever. And I started noticing that it was getting really bad. And I'm like, oh, my God, what's happening? And then I realized there's nothing blocking it out. There's no ambient blocking it out. The white noise machine of New York City is the noise on the street, you know. So I wasn't listening to a lot of anything. And the first thing I actually sat down and listened to was Fiona. And then I've been sort of jumping in. I'm trying to find this new X record because I'm a big fan of theirs. But I don't know. Weird. I just sort of wasn't in the mood. It wasn't as dramatic as after 9/11 when I couldn't.
You got to listen to this Tom Mishk and Yusuf Diaz record, What Kind of Music. It's really good.
Which is?
Tom Mishk and Yusuf Diaz. It's called What Kind of Music. I'll send it to you. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's really good.
I listened to this guy. I saw a video, believe it or not. I actually saw a video that I liked by this guy, Loner. I'm assuming it's pronounced that way because it's like L-O-N-R. Loner. And it's really interesting. It kind of gave me like this PM Dawn kind of vibe in the sense that it's kind of trippy, and he sings with H-E-R. I wish it just had, now it's too much spelling and punctuation. But I liked it. I was like, oh, okay, somebody's new. But Dua Lipa, love that record. I mean,
and I've been digging back into I've just been finding records I haven't listened to in years. I dug back out Chantal Kreviazik's Under These Rocks and Stones. I love that album. Love that album. And Marianne Faithfull's Negative Capability from 2018, which is a great record.
You know who Dua Lipa, who I get so much of a vibe from, you would know the reference, Kathy Dennis. Remember her?
I just found her CD, her first CD, Just a Dream, when I was digging through it. I have been in here grooving. First of all, Kathy Dennis has written a lot of pop songs for a lot. Kathy Dennis wrote Can't Get You Out of My Head. Kathy Dennis wrote Toxic. Kathy Dennis wrote songs for the Sugar Babes. Kathy Dennis, I think Rihanna might have sang something that Kathy Dennis has written. Kathy Dennis is amazing.
Really good. And as soon as I heard Dua Lipa, I started thinking, not to take anything away from Dua Lipa, but I was like, Kathy fucking Dennis. And I went online. I remember interviewing her years ago. She was totally cool and just very cool in the sense of not trying to be cool, you know?
Right.
Really, really good shit. And I was like, yeah, Kathy Dennis, where is she now? Well, she's living off those royalties, clearly.
And still writing songs and doing well. So it's time for our What Dumb Shit that Megan McCain say today, you know, our favorite segment. And I'd like to start saying mine is all of these TV doctors who are not actually MDs, Dr. Phil, or TV doctors, Dr. Oz, who are on every channel, on every television show, and have people say, you know, basically ready to jump out a window. People, stop getting your info. I think I've said this before. Stop taking all your information from people whose job it is to sell you something. That's all I'm going to say.
You know what's sad about Dr. Oz is that he's actually was a reputable heart doctor, but he's not.
Yes, but that's not right. But, you know, these doctors act like they all have every specialty under the sun under their belt.
If you're going to listen to a doctor, you need to listen to Dr. Bombay because he was clearly the best ever. So, talk at a later point how Oprah needs to do a little penance for giving these guys credibility. Fucking idiot. Yeah, I'm part of them too. I think Fox has finally stopped using them because they realized that, you know, they were basically advocating crazy shit. Well, my thing is that flyover that happened yesterday in New York City. We had the Blue Angels and somebody else do
and the Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Okay, so it was very cool to see. I did see it. But number one, for those of us who live in New York, it was a little 9/11 PTSD-ish to have planes flying overhead. Right. And number two, I think the first responders would rather have protective equipment and money and a minimum wage in this country. They don't need a bunch of planes during which they're indoors anyway. And why are you having an event that requires people to come out on the street and not socially distance in order to watch it? what a tremendous, like, small dick from our president move. You know, like, spend the money elsewhere. This city is bankrupt. New York State is bankrupt. This country's in a depression. We don't need that kind of diversion. You know,
we need you to help. We need you to help the states. And yes, we are all listening. And this leads into, thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you to all of you first responders out there. Thank you to all of you essential workers. Thank you to my guys in the bodega around the corner. Thank you to my guys at my 99-cent store. Thank you to everybody in my supermarket around the corner. Thank you to the guys in my pharmacy who called me when my stuff was ready, let me come get it early, and took care of me and made sure I had everything that I needed. Thank you to all of those people who are black and brown and lower income who cannot work from home and have to go out there and are doing these jobs and serving all of these communities around New York and the United States. And they're doing it with, at risk of their lives and to feed their family and also to make sure that we have all of the things we need. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
I go out every night at 7 and I clap, and it's very...
So do I. Yep.
But you know what? As beautiful as that is, let's remember this. The next time people are moaning about minimum wage, let's remember that this fucking city stayed afloat because of some minimum wage worker at a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods or someplace besides.
Or your local pharmacy, or guess what? That Grubhub, that Seamless, that DoorDash that you're ordering, it's not the owner of the company who's on that bike or on that scooter in their car delivering that stuff to you. So tip those people generally. Thank them. Thank the UPS man who's delivering your Amazon boxes. Thank the FedEx man who's delivering your packages. Thank them because you know what? They are putting themselves out there to make sure all of your shopping online actually comes to your door. It's important.
Remember, when we're talking about, and I'm not saying that most of us aren't, but we need to remember that when we talk about first responders, instead of making them into heroes, which they are, but let's reimburse them. Let's treat them with hazard pay. Let's remind them.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
People are alive right now. I was at Whole Foods the other day because they have old people hours. If you're 6 plus, you can 8 o'clock.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And there were two people in there shopping, me and some other old lady, and every there was black or brown, and they were bagging up groceries for people, and I went, you know what? If these fucking people at home had to go to a store, they wouldn't do it. Thank God for these people who are doing it, and they're getting a wage, and they don't have a union, and they have shitty health benefits. So let's remember that when we, when we're thanking the first responders, let's always remember that it's everybody who's out there doing their job because they don't
absolutely, and they don't have the luxury of staying home. I also want to take this moment to say rest in peace to my cousin David Anderson, who passed away from COVID late last week. It's really serious, people. Take it, stay home. And I also want to say a rest in peace to my Aunt Margaret, my mother's only sister, who's a big part of our family, who passed away yesterday. And it's kind of a big deal to us. And I want to do this show and dedicate it to her and keep going. I love you, Aunt Margaret. I love you, Erwin. I love you, Leslie. I love you, Mom. I love you, Sam. And
I'll give you a hug. Very long distance.
But I will end it on a lighter note and say I also want to dedicate this show to my friend Joshua, who is now out of the hospital and, really kicking leukemia's ass and, and doing really, really well. Prayers have been answered and continued prayers. Amy, thank you. Love and miss you. We miss you guys so much. Listen, we're recording the show over the phone. We're going to try to bring them to you and try to keep it fresh, try to keep it funny. And remember to follow us on Facebook. We have a great Facebook page where we're really active. It's at I'm going to let you finish, all one word. Amy runs our Twitter. She's really funny and great. Follow us there at Finish Ima. We're on Instagram at I'm going to let you finish New York. And you can also follow Listening Party Presents on Instagram and go to the website, Listening Party Presents. We love you guys. This is a challenging time, right? And I think this shows what people are really made of. And we're all strong, and we're New York strong, and we're going to get through this shit because we've survived a lot of shit. But stay home, stay safe. You stay home and you stay safe, Amy. And what do you want to say to close out the show?
What?
What do you want to say to close out the show?
Oh, well, I just want to say the same thing to you. First off, I'm sorry to hear about your family. I mean, it sucks. We've all sadly seeing a lot of death right now. I think we are going to get through this. I am hoping that this brings a really fundamental change in us as a country. We are going to change in a lot of ways, and it's not just because of the economy. I hope this makes us value each other better. I hope this makes us realize that we are not, you know, we are people. We're vulnerable to things. I hope this has an impact on the election. Please, God.
Please vote, people. And I want you guys to pay attention to this. We need to win the Senate back, and we need to keep the House. People, this election is not just Joe Biden. Oh, and let me just say this, and I don't know how you feel about this, then we'll end this show. I do not agree with the fact that they've decided to cancel the presidential primary in New York. Nobody asked me if I thought that was okay. You know what I mean? Why is that okay? Like, because if you're gonna keep those Senate races, you keep that. I'm sorry, I think they need to reverse that. That's some bullshit. I want my right to vote. I don't care if there's only one person, whatever. I still want my right to vote. And canceling that was bullshit.
That's not why they canceled it. No, the reason they can't, honestly, is the League of Women, the voting people did. It wasn't the Democratic Party.
Yes, I know, but I'm just saying, I said it's my democratic right to vote. I didn't say the Democratic Party. I want my right to vote. Because they only canceled, here's the thing, they only canceled the presidential primary. The other races that are happening are still happening. So it's not like the polls aren't going to happen that day. So my thing is, why did you, that part. So why you don't, if you're not going to cancel the whole thing, you don't get to just say, well, we're not going to do this part of it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's fucked up. I didn't know that. Well, look, just stay safe, stay at home, you know, the day that shelter in place is supposed to be released is my birthday, so yay, that's fun. But yeah, the important things, I think we will get through this, but things are going to fundamentally change, and let's hope it changes for the better. Let's really hope it changes, that we're inside of ourselves a little bit more, that we stop eating so much meat. I don't know.
I've stopped eating a lot of meat. Well, I will say this. The day they say shelter in place is over, are you going to be in a rush to run out the house that day?
No.
Right.
and furthermore, no.
Right. And then there's that. All right, kids, we're out. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.